If you shove it up your butt, Mike, and shove it up there real far, you can get anything back from Canada.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we're going to talk about the potential Marvel movies for 2020. We only got two.
Right around the corner.
Slim pickings, but we're going to see what we got. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the massive demand for the Batman animated series Blu-ray set.
Ooh.
They sold out and decided to up the numbers a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right.
There are a lot of Avengers 4 quote-unquote leaks, theories, and more.
Ooh, and they come at a great time because I think we're going to really dive into it this week on the news.
Yes, totally. So that's our news. We don't really have a whole lot of... There's nothing like groundbreaking here, Mike. But I mean, I think it's all some pretty good stuff to talk about.
I think we got enough to riff off of. You know, sometimes you get two different types of episodes of Superhero Slate. When you get the really long, news-heavy episodes, we're basically running through and almost like performing a community service task here, where we're just like, okay, here's the news, bam, 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 bam. We got like 30 bullet points. This year, I mean, I guess this episode, we have just it's a little bit of a lighter dusting, but at least we'll have like the time to actually dive into this stuff because, you know, we got ridiculous theories. We got predictions that sometimes come true, so we can't get them out there unless we got the time.
It's true. It's very, very true. And it's on the weekend before Halloween, Mike, and none of this is Halloween related news or scary, and that's just disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah, I was thinking about like, oh, maybe we could do a segment on the show of like scariest superhero movies, but I was like, no, that just sounds like a really dumb clickbait article, and of course, like the top ones, whatever you're gonna get out of it is probably gonna be the Blade movies because it's the only thing that even really touches horror at all.
Did you see Fantastic Four from 2015? I'm terrified to
no,
return to that one.
That would be like on the clickbait article where it says like on-roll mentions like har har har, I'm a funny internet writer.
You won't believe number 7.
You won't believe it. It's Venom. Did you guys see Venom? There was some spooky parts in there. It's like, oh, okay, geez, people. All right.
I don't even know if there's any scary superhero movies out there.
Well, you know what? There's as long as
does Spawn count?
Oh, speaking of Blade, I think I showed you this for the first time this week, and I don't know if anybody else there out on the internet really talks about it, mainly because I think it's maybe relegated to a much younger demographic, but there's this whole website dedicated to celebrity shout-outs called called Cameo.com. Is that what it was, if I remember right? I think it was called... It's like
probably
called Cameo or Shoutout.com or something.
Cameo.com. It was in my history here. Do they pay you to push this? Because like this is twice.
No,
it
was just bizarre. Like I was looking. I stumbled across the Sauce Boss's Twitter account. He's the bearded dude from Epic Mealtime. I haven't watched him in a really long time, but I was kind of curious what he's been up to lately. And he had a link in his Twitter profile to something like Cameo.com, and I was like, what is this? So I click on it, and it's just like, you can pay the Sauce Boss $50, and he'll just give you or anybody like a shout out. And I was like, okay. So I kind of go to the homepage, start scrolling through, and it's just like there's a bunch of different types of celebrities on there. It's a fixed rate of $50, and you get a shout out. I don't really know the length of however long that's supposed to be, but I was scrolling through there, and I was like, okay, most of these, of course, are just like YouTube stars or like social media celebrities, people I have no idea who they are. But Wesley Snipes, speaking of Blade, was on there, and it was hilarious. And you can kind of see previous shout outs that they've done, and I think maybe he had just set up his account because he only had like 2 shout outs on there, and they were kind of more just like they're just kind of more like a welcome, like, oh hey, this is my Cameo account or whatever it was. But I don't think anybody's bought anything from him yet because the 2 uploads he has, like one of them's really quiet, like he's covering the microphone with his hand maybe, and like the second one I don't think he really says anything, so he's just kind of like this old dude trying to navigate this weird new world where you can get paid $50 for like a minute of work. It was bizarre. Like I think this...
Well, I listened to him, so you can choose whether it's public or not, like hidden or not. But like he's doing some accent. Was he in like Coming to America or something like that? Like he's got some accent he's doing in here. I don't know what movie he's from, but like a couple of them he's doing an accent, and he's not really doing Blade, which he should be doing Blade because those would be very entertaining.
I tell you what, I was this close to seeing if he would do a Superhero Slate shout out, because like he is like the only, like he's like the nerdiest connection I could get on there, except for they had the guy who does the voice of Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid series, and apparently he has some other credentials that he was trying to tout on the service, but no one cared. All of the shout outs on his profile were all for Solid Snake, and I was just like, this is awesome. I want him to give me a shout out. So really weird, bizarre platform. I don't understand.
I think the other one to put on there is Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's also in The Flash, at least last season. So, I mean, there are some ties to superheroes.
He's only doing wizarding stuff, though. I clicked through a couple of his. It's all talking about Slytherin or, like, Hogwarts and stuff like that. But it's like, you have to know that's what people are going to want from you, right? They're going to want the most famous thing extracted out of you for $50. It honestly seems very soulless for anybody that can actually get a real acting gig, but I guess maybe if they want to connect with their fans, maybe they're just trying to like get on the hip new thing before it gets too crazy, and they just can't quite capitalize it. But like, I totally understand like YouTube celebrities being on that. I mean, you basically shell out your entire life when you're just like a social media persona. But yeah, that was weird, man. So if you want to go get a shout out from Blade, aka Wesley Snipes, you can find him on Cameo, I guess.
Or if you want to be insulted by TJ Miller, if you don't run into him in real life, he's on here as well.
That was hilarious. So. Yeah, I saw his account was like temporarily unactive. I think
unavailable. On the schedule or something.
But I was like, I guess if you're making bomb threats and can't get gigs, you're on Cameo showing for $50 a shout out. Man, weird world we live in, man.
It truly is. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but have you ever heard of the show Hell's Kitchen?
Hell's Kitchen. I have seen. I've seen a handful of episodes. I understand what's going on there.
I get it. I've never seen it. Last week I discovered Amazon has the first 15 seasons uncensored.
Whoa, uncensored?
Yes.
I had no idea. That's a selling point right there.
It really is. And this show started back in 2005. So you get the 4:3 ratio video. Like, they're just kind of figuring it out. But, like, man, like, this is, like, my background kind of noise when I'm working on stuff, or, like, laying in bed, thumbing through Imager. But, like, it's just, this show, despite all the memes and everything, like, I've really enjoyed going through it and just being...
And this is Gordon Ramsay, correct?
Yes. Just listening to him, cuss at everybody else and everybody getting pissed off. Like, it's great because it's totally uncensored, and that's what I was really wanting to experience. So
I had no idea they even had a version of that uncensored. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if you have Amazon Prime, 15 seasons, totally free. You don't have to pay for them. So, man, that's totally not superhero related, but I'm enjoying that.
Well, I got something nerdy related before we want to bounce into the news. The second season of Castlevania on Netflix dropped this week, and if you were unfamiliar, last year they made an animated 4-episode first season for Castlevania, and it says in the credits based on the Konami series. So I don't really know much about the video game itself. I know it's basically some dude named Belmont. He's got a whip, he's running through Dracula's castle, you kill him at the very end, and then there's tons of spinoffs. I don't know the lore. So going into the show, that's basically all I know. The first season last year was great. It was only 4 episodes. It kind of just felt like kind of a divvied up, almost animated movie. So I was happy to see this year when the second season came out, there's 8 episodes. So now if you haven't watched it yet, you can kind of dive into kind of like a full like 12 episode experience, and it's actually really great. It's the first time I've seen something like adult animated that actually has a really interesting story. It seems like it's almost written from the point of view where it didn't necessarily have the intention of being animated. Like, I felt like that script could have been used like live action style, maybe with a higher Game of Thrones budget, and it would have been really cool just with real living actors. But dude, they do a great job kind of with this anime style, and you have your main character like fighting with a whip, and they do some like really amazing whip choreography, which is really crazy. Your mind can't really get wrapped around how he's spinning it around and swinging it, and I can't imagine all the detail that goes into like these fight scenes that they animate. But it's really cool, really interesting story between Dracula's son, Belmont, this like this magical, I guess, cleric that kind of wanders around with them. Really cool story. There's a great moment in the second season where like I kind of wanted to screenshot it or turn it into a GIF to convince people to watch it. So without any spoilers, I'll just give it without context. There's a moment where somebody is transformed into a wolf, running between groups of battling vampires. Jumps up in the air to catch a telepathically connected sword. So the wolf grabs the sword with his mouth and fights with it and then throws it and kills another vampire. It's crazy. It's nuts. So you got to watch Castlevania on Netflix. It's going to be perfect for the Halloween season. Very action, very gruesome though. Not safe for kids. Whole lot of blood, dismemberment, organs everywhere, but it's funny, it's written well, and the action's great. You got to watch it.
I have heard this week as well, because I knew that came out, that it is one of the best video game adaptations to date. Although that bar's pretty low, they do say that this is one of the best video game adaptations to TV/film to date. So people are agreeing with you, Mike. Don't get used to it. But we're here to talk about superhero stuff. And I want to talk about Avengers 4 right out the gate. Because you started the note sheet this week. If anyone knows, we keep a note sheet. Mike made the first note. And the note he made was something that I wasn't going to tell him. But now that he put that note in there, I had to open up the rest of Pandora's box of these news that I've been holding back for several months.
Well, so it's a little unintentional. Usually towards the end of the week, we don't talk too much as the week goes on. We like to save all the notes for when we get on the microphone. But, I need a little bit of information when I start to kind of make the marketing materials for each episode. So I kind of need to strife out on my own, try to find some big news. And this week there wasn't anything like so monumental that it kind of breaks through all the force fields that I keep spoilers away from me. So I was able to see this one. So I was like, all right, well, we'll lead with that. And then I think I saw another one that you might have known and seen that maybe you might shield me from, that I'll try to maybe slowly get out. I don't know. This is going to be this weird thing where it's like, something, I don't know if you know it, then I know it because I saw it on Instagram, like a screenshot. So we're just going to see how this segment goes. I don't know.
Well, I think the first thing is they did a Black Panther screening invite this week, and to special people, press. I think this is for the Black Panther hype train to get for the Academy Award nominations.
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige came out of his Feige hole. We haven't seen him out of there since Ant-Man and the Wasp premiered back in June. So a lot of people have been asking him some questions. We have some answers here. The first question is, when will we see the trailer? He said before the end of the year's up. And this is the biggest duh moment I've had all week.
Feige, that's not the answer we were looking for.
Yeah.
Give me a date.
Yeah. So we predicted some last week, late November, maybe early December, but we're going to get a trailer before the end of the year. Some people were even thinking, hey, they may not show a trailer until Captain Marvel. And I'm like, no. They still need to sell tickets. So let's do that. But some other news from not just Kevin Feige at these presentations, but like other, I say, actors, producers, etc. are at these things. And one of these actually came from a producer. But the first one you mentioned here is that Frank Grillo has confirmed that Crossbones has filmed some scenes and will be returning in a flashback. Now, let me preface this with one thing, Mike.
Okay.
I think we've mentioned this before. They have so much money and want so much secrecy around this project. I think they might have hired some of these actors to film scenes that will not be happening.
Oh my God, I love it. I love that this is seeping into your brain, because we talked about this a few months back where I thought the whole photo shoot of paparazzi that were at that outdoor Avengers shoot like a year back, like I was thinking that was all faked, and now you're on it with me. Now you think like they're bringing in actors to fake it. I think that's hilarious, but
would you put it past them?
No, I wouldn't. But what I think's happening here is I think Crossbones could very well be returning, but I don't think they really think these ancillary characters are really going to be interviewed or talked to. Or, I just don't think that they thought that they're going to let the cat out of the bag. Maybe they're more worried about the bigger stars like Tom Holland, who are in very integral scenes and they have read the whole script. I could see somebody like Crossbones like not having a whole lot to do in the movie. So maybe even within the actor's context, he might not know a whole lot. But he did reference that it is a flashback. Mm-hmm. But I could see him not knowing. I mean, he's just like, oh, yeah, I was in the movie. And then, Cap's there in his old suit. suit. So yeah, it was a flashback, but maybe he just doesn't know that any of this revolves around like possible time travel.
Well, maybe he may consider flashback because he's maybe in his old suits as well, refilming scenes he's already done with little tweaks on them. Now I think everyone signed a non-disclosure agreement, and they can all be sued very, very much the same. So I think they're literally leaking information out to throw us off, much like they did with the title we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Oh man, I would love it if this is the case. I just love how they probably had to hire some sort of like ex-CIA agent to come in on set, be like, help us disseminate false information. We're trying to protect this film.
Yeah.
I love that they're doing it though, because I hate spoilers. Who likes spoilers? Nobody likes them. So if this is
especially
the lengths
big
that
ones
they have to go to, like, yeah, this is hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, and what I also think is, I don't think anyone. I think only one. I think Benedict Cumberbatch has read the entire script. There are multiple scripts out there. No one has seen the whole thing completely.
Is he like the only adult in the room? He says like, hey, you're a classically trained actor. You've been nominated for Academy Awards. I think we can trust you.
Well, I also think that maybe his role plays a bigger part in the entire narrative thread as well.
Maybe.
So I don't know, but Crossbones, Frank Grillo returning has filmed scenes to film a flashback. Also from one of the producers whose last name, I think his name is Matthew Grillo, no relation to Frank Grillo, ironically, has confirmed that they got Tilda Swinton back for one day of filming in her schedule, and she was the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. Now, could this be a flashback? Could her disembodied spirit be talking to Doctor Strange's disembodied spirit because they're both quote-unquote dead in these movies? Or what? What's going on here? We don't know. I think this just probably adds more question marks than answers. How she could be integrated. And lastly, we've talked about this before, I think, but Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Quicksilver, has been back on set as well to revisit some of those scenes from Age of Ultron.
Well, we are in dangerous grounds of losing all of our Quicksilvers wholeheartedly. Just because like the X-Men universe is folding, and if Marvel killed off their only Quicksilver, maybe they'll find a way to bring him back. I do like the idea of maybe some stuff from Age of Ultron possibly getting retconned. I don't really know how any of this is going to work, but I love the idea that we can think about it and we just don't know.
And we don't know. That's the beauty. We can think about this all day long, and none of our answers are probably correct, but you know what? We at least thought about it. The best movies are the ones that you think about a little longer and go from there.
Yeah. And also, if these are just like flashbacks, they obviously have a little bit more to do than just showing like cutting in footage from past movies, because you would need to bring these people back to say new lines, perform brand new actions, something that you might not be able to get with something on the cutting room floor from Age of Ultron or the possibly the first Doctor Strange movie. So they physically need them there, which I think leans possibly more into time travel than a flashback, right. Because if you're flashing back to something that's already happened, but if you're traveling through time, you're interacting with the past, so you need those people there. So if we're having all of these different peoples from a bunch of different events, you have Tilda Swinton from Doctor Strange, you have Aaron Taylor Johnson from Ultron, you have Crossbones from
Winter Soldier. Was it Age of Ultron?
He blew up. Which one did he blow up in?
Age of Ultron, the beginning of Age of Ultron.
I thought it was
Civil War.
Civil War, yeah.
Sorry, Civil War and Winter Soldier, yeah.
Those Captain America movies, they're hard to keep track of sometimes.
Yeah.
So so these are all different moments, so that makes me think that they're not just going back to one point in time, they'll be going back to multiple points, jumping around. I don't know if they're like going to theoretically be chasing somebody through time, or are they going through time to try to fix some threads, or maybe they just get lost through time, they get thrown all around in this crazy quantum realm. I don't know, but it's a spread of characters. And also you have here in bolded big fat leak. I don't know if maybe the thing that I saw on
what
Instagram
do you see? Just tell me what you saw. You can't ruin anything for me.
Well, I saw Pepper Potts returning in in an armored role, if you will.
So that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
All right.
Did you already see the picture?
Yeah, I already saw the picture.
Okay, well then let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead to wrap up the returning cast thing. I think the characters that are being brought back have big world-changing role events. The death of Crossbones kicked off Civil War. the death of the Ancient One promoted Doctor Strange into potentially Sorcerer Supreme, and Quicksilver dying essentially transformed the Scarlet Witch into what she kind of is.
Yeah, unlocking her power.
Yeah. Well, not just unlocking, but like becoming, like fighting for good, becoming that Avenger kind of thing, like wanting to go forward and not be like not take vengeance like everybody else did in that movie that she was with at the beginning. So they're very important characters with very important parts, and I think we'll be revisiting those parts they were parts of.
But seeing Pepper Potts in the blue rescue armor, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a flashback to Iron Man 3. I mean, Tony's just got armor like oodles all over the place. He's launching rockets from Avengers headquarters to fly onto Peter Parker's back, just in case he ends up going into space. Like, he is prepared for literally everything. So I could just see this being a normal present day MCU action of just like Pepper needs a suit for something, Tony's got it ready. So it's kind of cool seeing her back in the suit. Maybe she'll get to do something.
Yeah, I mean, she was very powerful at the end of Iron Man 3. She had the extremis virus in her, so she used that. Rescue in the comic book form has no offensive capabilities or attack capabilities. She's only meant for like rescue missions. Like, so her suit is like life support and like saving other people, but not attacking or being offensive. The rumor is also, now take it with a grain of salt here, Mike, that this movie is 5 years beyond in the first Infinity War.
Ooh, I do like that idea, because that's one thing I was kind of hoping maybe the next season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could possibly tackle. I want to see the fallout, in a big budget movie. I'd love to see how the world moves on with half of its population. It would be kind of fun to see the machinations of the planet and how the heroes are dealing with it, because does crime get worse when half the population disappears? Does it get better and they don't have anything to do and they're just sitting on their hands? But yeah, jumping forward in the future would be cool, but we also have time travel involved, so it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be stuck in futuristic, like 2023, 2024, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, the great part of this, it means they don't have an answer to solve this problem immediately, and maybe they've been working on an answer to solve the glove snap at the end.
And this is kind of cool, because if the whole planet over 5 years just attacks itself, and we kind of have maybe a little bit of a post-apocalyptic vibe. They kind of hinged on that a little bit in that Age of Ultron comic book event, where Ultron had kind of like taken over the world, and they were kind of like the heroes were like fighting and scrapping and underground. Like, maybe they'll get to do a little bit of that too.
I mean, with half the people dead, I don't think it'll go post-apocalyptic. I think that's what Thanos was trying to prevent, is not that lack of resources and that kind of infighting.
Well, yeah, Thanos is a stable genius, so I think we can trust him.
Yeah, I just don't think the world's going to go like that. But I mean, but the point of the rescue armor is, if this is 5 years in the future and half the people are gone, and hopefully, knock on wood, Pepper is still around, and maybe not finger snapped and we're just being thrown off with this, like maybe she has upped her role as one of the Avengers, since they've lost so many people on their team. Like, she's been given a suit to be very proactive in saving people around the world.
Yeah, I guess they could need all of the help that they need, all the help that they can get.
Yeah, they can't. They're literally half-assing it, Mike.
But under normal circumstances, you made the right call of keeping this from me. But the Instagram algorithm is just targeting me ruthlessly with spoilers. Like, Kevin Feige needs to shut down Instagram in order to keep these getting from me. So maybe he knows he can't stop it. And like you said, he's disseminating all of this different stuff. Oh, crap, our rescue armor got leaked. Get Crossbones out there. Give him like $10,000 to go on an interview. He's not going to be in the movie. He's not going to be in the movie, but just give him some money so he's technically hired and he can talk about it. I don't know. That's hilarious.
The only other thing that backs this one up as being real compared to a fake or Photoshop is there was I think a toy with the blue rescue armor, the back of a packaging we talked about, that might be real. So I don't know. We don't know anything until we see it in the movie, and they still have 6 months to cut it, if not 7. So we're in the end game now, Mike. We are in the end game now.
To be a fly on the wall.
Yes. Lastly, in casting news, they're not filming a lot of scenes with new actors, but Katherine Langford, the breakout actress from the show 13 Reasons Why, was cast in this film. But who is she, Mike? That's the biggest question.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Yeah. So three things point out to who she might be. One is an AI voice, much like Jarvis or something like that. She could be the voice of Rescue, the armor AI. That's why I put this here. She could be the grown-up version of Lila Barton, which is Hawkeye's daughter, the young girl from Age of Ultron. If you had jumped forward 5 years plus 7 or 10, like it's like 10 years later. So.
All right, yeah, I could see something like that.
Or the character Kate Bishop. Are you familiar with the Kate Bishop character in the comic books?
Bishop sounds familiar from X-Men.
Nope.
But I think that's a first name.
Other way. So Kate Bishop is the female version of Hawkeye in the comic books. Hawkeye trains her to take his place as Hawkeye. Like someone else teaches her skill.
That would be kind of cool. And I mean, like, maybe they're looking over at Jeremy Renner. It's just like, you broke both of your arms filming a comedy movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we can count on you for the next decade of the MCU.
I think he's one of the older actors in the cast as well. Closer to 50. But that brings us to our next news point, Mike, actually. There's a Hawkeye solo movie starting to gain some traction.
Ooh.
Very early stages.
I got to imagine, if you're doing a Hawkeye movie, you can't ignore Matt Fraction's run. It is probably the most recent and most popular version of the character. Like, there's got to be some influence there. Like, maybe you don't make Jeremy Renner the same type of character that Matt Fraction's Hawkeye is, but maybe his daughter or his new recruit could kind of have that snarky, kind of sarcastic sense of humor, kind of to get that spiritually in there, you know?
Well, Kate Bishop is a big part of Fraction's run, so like this totally makes sense. Like, Hawkeye is going to train her, and she is more of that character, and like that would play very I guess more lethal weapony than say, but like if they're gonna do a Hawkeye solo movie and hand the reins over to a younger archer who just shoots arrows at people, this would be a movie and a good storyline to follow. And
so I don't like to kick an archer when they're down compared to the rest of all of the other heroes, but everybody always has the same conversations about Black Widow and Hawkeye, like, why are they on the team? They're humans. Thanos could just crush them with his like tiny fingers, like, they're inconsequential. I think they're awesome, and I think they do really clever ways of integrating them into the team. So far I haven't had any of those issues myself, but I could see somebody like Black Widow escalating to a feature film, but I could almost see a Hawkeye standalone movie going to the Disney streaming service, just because I feel like it's just not gonna quite reach to a cinematic peak almost. So maybe they might slot it into a streaming service, and I mean, like, it wouldn't be far off. I mean, if you're putting somebody as huge as Loki, who everybody loves, on the Disney streaming service, I mean, maybe Hawkeye will end up there too.
What about a West Coast Avengers film or something like that, where Hawkeye is on the West Coast training a younger version team of Avengers?
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing more of the West Coast. I feel like the MCU currently has stripped New York of everything they could possibly get out of it, especially
they've
if
even moved out. So
yeah, especially if you like include the street level people on Netflix who are still technically in the MCU.
More than that.
So I could see them really tying that into the West Coast. We haven't really seen a whole lot of that since the Iron Man movies, but we do know Captain Marvel was filmed in LA. I don't know if it technically takes place there in the film, but it was filmed out here. So maybe if Marvel keeps getting some of those LA tax credits, maybe they could do a West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, they could. And I think, having all those other people that Hawkeye are training, like the old grumpy tired person who doesn't want to train these snarky idiot kids, gives them more of a reason to have a full movie rather than just a Hawkeye solo movie. Yeah,
and also he probably, he wants to retire. I hate the fact that they gave him a family, but at least since he hasn't now, use it as a plot device to actually give him a motive to retire, to go spend time with his family on the farm. But then he has a sense of responsibility to the planet, so I could really see him being like, okay, well, the mantle of Hawkeye must be replaced before I retire.
Yeah, and I think, what was cool, like, he didn't want to come to Civil War, but like he still came out of his quote unquote retirement because of that responsibility and like that, like, hey, I got to do this. got to do the good thing. So I think there's some opportunities here. We don't know, but we're gonna put our ears to the ground, Mike, and I'll keep an ear out for this one and see what's going on.
Yeah, let me know. We haven't seen Jeremy Renner in a while. Actually, before we started recording today, I went and I saw Mission Impossible Fallout, and Jeremy Renner wasn't in that movie, and I was like, man, he really could have helped them out. There are some tight edge of your seat moments in that movie. I was like, oh man, if
he'd have been good.
If Hawkeye was just there, he'd be able to save him.
Well, I mean, the only reason he was not in Mission Impossible Fallout is because he was filming his Infinity War 2 parts. So, but we still haven't seen any of those parts yet, so I'm kind of disappointed. We'll God, I want that trailer so bad. Anyway, but Kevin Feige out of his Feige hole. We're gonna talk some Marvel stuff here. This is not necessarily revealed. This is more of a leak for the 2020 Marvel lineup. We know we have lost a movie in July. So we are left with May 1st and November 6th, 2020 with Marvel movies. And here are the two movies that they're currently working on to put in these roles. And you tell me what you think. Okay. The first one, May 1st, Black Widow solo movie. Okay. November 6th, The Eternals movie.
That's going to be a strange year for Marvel. Usually I feel like there's some sort of like almost safe property that they have to put in any given year. But maybe by this point in time, since it's 2020, they've been around for a while, maybe they literally can make any movie that they want that's not connected, technically to another, it's not a sequel. But Black Widow, she's been around for a while, so the audience can connect with her story. I have a strong feeling once the trailer's out for that movie, they'll reveal that there's other characters that we know that are going to be in it, that's going to hype us and get us to go. The Eternals is going to be crazy. I just have no idea how that movie's going to work. So maybe that November slot makes sense. I think Doctor Strange was November. He was he was a newer character. We weren't really sure how he was working. So maybe that's what the November slot is for.
Well, Ragnarok was also a big chance because everyone had kind of given up on Thor movies as well. So November kind of is one of those risky ones. Now, here's my thoughts on this. I think May 1st was going to be Guardians 3.
Oh, yeah, I could see that for sure.
But they had to get rid of one day when Guardians 3 is now officially on hold for Kevin Feige. It's on hold. They had to get rid of one day. Do you give up your May 1st slot, or do you give up the middle of July?
I don't think you can give... May is a primo month. I mean, July, way back in the day, I feel like July used to be the month for summer movies, but that's when things were very segmented to summer movies, you had winter movies, and then basically everything else is just a crapshoot. You didn't really know what was going to go on. So, but now everything is opened up, and now May is really the month. I feel like you could make $1 billion with any movie on any given day, but May is when everybody's really going to the movies.
And the July one was like late July, like July 29th or something like that. I think it was going to be Black Widow on July. And they have to make a decision. Do we cut May and lose that box office, or put Black Widow still in July? And it would have been a whole year because Spider-Man is coming out July next year, and it would have been July the next year before our next Marvel movie.
Yeah, so, and you know what? That July month could always be taken up by just a different Disney property. It doesn't have to be Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what they have in production now, what they can and know they can get done, are Black Widow and the Eternals, and I think these are two smart choices if these are the leaks to put them in there, because they can't really do anything else at this point in time. You can't fast track anything.
So 2019 is going to be Captain Marvel, and then we're going to have Infinity War Part 2, and then Spider-Man. And then, are you saying when Spider-Man drops in July, we're not going to get a whole nother Marvel movie until May the following year?
Yep.
Man, that's going to be a dry spell. Damn.
Yeah, it is. And who knows what else is going to be in there, good or bad. So that's kind of the leak / reveal. Logically, it makes sense to me. So I don't know about anybody else, but I think that's where it is. Kevin Feige also said that Namor could make an appearance in the MCU. They're just trying to figure out when and if he should make an appearance.
He's like, we got him now. Like, we don't have to worry about any sort of weird connection between Fox. He's like, he's in our encampment. It will be strange because the connection between Namor and Aquaman is just incredibly strong. Just because it's a situation where those characters, I don't know if Namor is from the city of Atlantis, but he is definitely a dude that lives underwater. He all of that underwater trope surrounds him. But you got this Aquaman movie coming out. So if Aquaman really hits it out of the park, everybody loves it, and Jason Momoa really pushes the DCEU forward, they might have to figure out maybe if a Namor movie is ever going to be possible. I could still see Namor being slotted into a movie, but maybe Namor never technically has his own standalone. If Aquaman craps the bed, maybe give it a couple years. Hey, here's Namor. He's the MCU's Aquaman, and we'll do it right. So,
well, I think Namor is one of those characters you have to introduce in a Fantastic Four movie because his introduction and relevance to that property is huge, and then maybe turn him into a hero later on, or like an anti-hero. But I don't see anyone crying out for Namor movies right now. Like, he's not like a staple Avenger or anything important. So like Aquaman isn't a Justice League member. Like, yeah, you got to have him.
I think they could have pulled, if they would have had Namor earlier, maybe a few years ago before Aquaman made it on the scene. Now things are just a little bit more complicated.
I still wouldn't have put Namor in there. I think all the choices have been pretty good so far. Just let him stay down in the water for a while. We'll make Waterworld 2 later.
Please don't tease me. I want. Bring Kevin Costner back for another Waterworld movie.
Nope, we're not. Spider-Man PlayStation 4, the DLC dropped this week, Mike. The City That Never Sleeps is a 3-part DLC release, with the first one called The Heist that came out this week, focusing on Spider-Man and Black Cat. The whole DLC is set at night, because that's what it is. I don't think it's over one night, but like the daytime never changes in this. It's always at night when you play it. I've beaten the DLC already, so it was.
How long did it take you compared to a normal playthrough of the full game?
This was at least two pretty solid days of playing.
Oh, okay.
So like I had to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long it took, but I was really captivated by the story here. I didn't think I would be, but I mean, they've added a bunch of other things. Do you remember that annoying girl who like sets up the TV show, or the live webcam show in the game?
Yeah.
I forget what her name is. She gets an extended presence in this as well, with new side missions for her character.
All right.
So it's not just the DLC story mode. There's some other new side missions, some hidden artwork to go find around the city. It's definitely interesting. I called a couple twists in it, which was really fun. I really enjoyed it. So I think if you're on the fence about the DLC, I would just buy the whole pack. I wouldn't buy them individually. I think it's $25 to get them all. But this feels like the first chapter in the first act of these big 3, and I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Oh, cool.
So I've got to recommend it. Then I started. I tried out the New Game Plus mode that you can do. So if you finish the game, you can go and hit square, and they'll start a brand new game with ultimate difficulty in New Game Plus mode with all your stuff unlocked already. Way more fun to do that than to start over fresh. I will tell you right out the gate, Mike. So I plan on doing that and recording those for Twitch and streaming those on Twitch, so you guys can go back and watch the whole game from start to finish if you want to.
Nice. Chris here with hot tips.
I know. It's so fun. I really like this game. Disney streaming service. So another character has been rumored potentially to be one of the Marvel's 4 shows we talked about. Loki, Scarlet Witch, and now Nick Fury is supposed to be maybe one of the 4 on there. What would you think of a Nick Fury show?
I wish I was more excited at the proposition. I feel like if it's with Samuel L. Jackson, I mean, I'm not trying to be ageist here, but he is getting up there in age. They literally have to de-age the man to be in his next movie. So, what are we getting here? Are we getting a little bit of an origin story? And if they do, they're not going to use all of that special effects money for a TV show. So would they hire a new actor to play him even younger? But I feel like we're already going to get a little bit of that younger story in Captain Marvel. So if this is present day Nick Fury, is he going to be sidelined by other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents? And then it's just like, are we just looking at a different version of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. but with Nick Fury? So I don't really know what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we know a lot of it, because Loki's dead. Where does Loki fit into this kind of thing?
This feels a lot like talking about Star Wars story movies, where we're just like, hey, you want an Obi-Wan movie? What about a Boba Fett movie? No, not a Boba Fett movie? Okay, a Boba Fett show. Obi-Wan movie? We don't know yet.
Yeah, so I mean, but I think the best thing is these are not like staple releases in the film in the theater. So we've got that benefit going for us. I mean, if Nick Fury is, I mean, I just see him running around saying, "Wakanda, motherfucker, do you speak it?" I don't know. I don't know. But some other report from a trusted source has said that there's something bigger and better reportedly in the works for one of these shows. They just can't say what it is because they need a second confirmation.
I would like a continuing thread through all these shows. I think it's fine if all these shows kind of want to be standalone stories of, you know, showing these characters just having a little bit of fun of their own world, kind of like padding out the Disney streaming service with some like premium IP. But it would be nice if there was a thread that you could kind of follow throughout them. So let's say theoretically the Loki show is the first one to drop. So if it's a Loki prequel, because, you know, there's a good chance he might be staying dead, maybe whatever he's doing, something cosmically or magically in Asgard is happening in the background that kind of carries over maybe into the Scarlet Witch show a little bit, and maybe it's a common villain through line or something. It would be nice if there was a reason to kind of watch them all, you know, for a unifier at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I think like do that thread that maybe the Defenders and the Netflix shows are really missing that make them feel connected. They're just, it's not there. But I think if it's under Feige's control and production, I think we're gonna be fine. I think he's got some ideas, and you know, giving it a different platform is a really cool way to do it. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on this one as well. This has got me intrigued. In other words of things, you mentioned a Boba Fett movie. Well, Boba Fett's no longer happening, Mike. You can take that one off your list. Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that this week that the movie's 100% no longer happening. If you remember, Josh Trank was hired to do this movie, and then he was fired from like everything right before. I think he even fired from Fantastic Four. Like he just, you know, if you have a chance at everything, you just blow it, and then he kind of blew up. So we haven't heard from him in a while. But their focus at Star Wars is on the Mandalorian TV show. So I think maybe they could carry a lot of those ideas over into that as well.
I think this just goes to show you how weak of a proposition Boba Fett as a man was. And honestly, people just want and like the sick armor. I mean, that's honestly what it is. I mean, props to whoever designed Boba Fett's armor, and putting him in the original Star Wars movies just made him look really cool compared to everybody else. He was a bounty hunter. He kind of had this cool voice going on. He was able to get the best of our heroes, and he froze a dude in carbonite and transported him to a gangster. I mean, the armor just set it all off in a perfect way. So just goes to show you, we don't need Django or whatever Fett's inside of it. We just want that cool armor, that Mandalorian armor to carry on. So, and I'm sure a little bit of this is involved when it comes to Solo coming out earlier this year. If you forgot, that movie came out this year. And I think I told you the other week, I was kind of curious, like everybody is saying Solo was a failure. I'm going to go look up the box office numbers. I looked them up and I was like, still made multi-millions, triple-digit millions of dollars. But then when you look at the budget, you try to factor in the marketing in your head, you're like, oh wow, they'll be lucky if they broke even. But then I was just like, well, wait a minute. How did Rogue One do? I go over to the Rogue One box office page, $1 billion. I had no idea Rogue One made $1 billion.
A lot of that was international budget or money too, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On Rogue One?
Yeah, they got a lot of international. So if you kind of compare, if Rogue One was the first Star Wars story movie that kind of set the benchmark, and then Solo comes in, cruising really comfortable right underneath that goalpost, you know. They could be a little bit worried about standalone movies going forward.
Yeah, I think you know, one of the things about I don't know about this movie. I mean, Boba Fett. What I was looking up actually while you were talking, I think the person who created his armor was Joe Johnston, who directed the first Avenger. By the way.
Yeah, he also designed. Didn't he design some Captain America armor too?
Yeah, I mean he directed Captain America, so I assume he did. I don't know, but I mean anyway, yeah. Does no one really wants Boba Fett movie? And you know, Han
they
Solo,
just want the kick-ass armor.
Yeah, they like the idea of him, not the execution of him. Even the history of Jango Fett being the clone base for all the clones and Boba Fett. God damn it, the prequels just piss me off. Anyway, we're just gonna go to happier news. Batman the Animated Series, beloved show by tons and tons of people, more than dozens. They love this show growing up. I watch this show growing up. The only DC comic I own right now is a Batman comic, and the cover is the Man Bat from the animated series because I saw it and had to have it. So the Blu-ray run of this animated series was, we announced it several months ago. It was coming out, I think October, November, was about 30,000 units. They have now extended that to 70,000 units because they sold out all those out before the release of this show. Even though the show is on the DC streaming service, DC Universe, people still want to own this Blu-ray copy, Mike, these upscaled versions, and put them on your shelf and watch them whenever you want if you got a disc player that you want to keep swapping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to profile nerds here, but the type of person that really loves Batman the Animated Series is the type of person that wants to collect it and own it. They're also the type of person that might be subscribed to the streaming service, but yeah, I would imagine you physically want to own it and touch it. I mean, you know me. I don't really like physical media, but I'm a huge fan of Avatar The Last Airbender, and I had to own the Blu-ray. I had to actually have it, so it sounds like they're running into the same good problem that Nintendo ran into when they remade all of those old consoles that had the games downloaded into it. So they're just like, yeah, we can just make more of these, make some more money.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. But if you can get your hands on it at retail price, please do so. Don't pay eBay flipping price. So get it while you can. That's really cool. The Joker the movie Joker has cast a young Bruce Wayne and Alfred for the upcoming movie. So even though Joaquin Phoenix is an older Joker and will be dealing with Batman's dad's name? What is it? Wayne. I can't think of his name. What's Bruce Wayne's dad's name, Mike? Help me out here.
The struggling's funny, but I'm only laughing because I can't. Thomas Wayne.
There we go. Thank you very much, Thomas Wayne. So we will get to see a younger Alfred and a very young Bruce Wayne. I think the actor they cast is maybe 10 or so.
It's probably one of the Stranger Things kids. They get everything now.
Yeah. So it's not. It's actually someone I don't know. So I think it's a smaller role than we're anticipating. But yeah, they're doing that, and I think the Joker is the release date for the Joker. Mike, is that I believe this is like October or November of next year. And that kind of forgot me. I don't know if did we announce this last week. The Wonder Woman 2 release date has changed.
No, we didn't, because I think that came right on Monday. I think that was right after we recorded the show.
Yeah. So Wonder Woman 2, this has already been updated on our upcoming release date page because we're always on top of this, Mike. I don't want to go to a page that sucks. They have moved Wonder Woman from November of 2019 to June of 2020. So
2020. I mean, usually you think when a movie gets pushed back, you start to get nervous. Are they doing reshoots? Are they pushing it? What's going on here? Is there trouble with the movies? But then when you see it gets pushed to a primo summer date, that just means oh no, this is potentially good news. They really kind of like what they're seeing, and they want to scrap up those summer dollars.
Well, also Wonder Woman 1 released the same weekend. I think June, the first weekend of June, and was it last year, 2 years ago. So they want to capitalize on that opening weekend success. You want to get that lightning in a bottle yet again, if you will. But also the Joker is an October release. So why would you have a Joker movie October 4th, 2019, and then Wonder Woman 2 weeks later? So they moved it all the way back to June 5th, 2020. Yes, that sucks. But I think we're going to get a good movie out of Wonder Woman 2.
Well, we were just talking. We're going to have a little bit of a drought of Marvel movies in 2020, and we liked the first Wonder Woman movie, so I wouldn't be too mad if I have to go see Wonder Woman in the summer. That sounds like a great thing.
I mean, I think if Black Widow turns out to be the May movie and Wonder Woman 2 is the June movie, we've got a female-led summer looking forward to us in 2020, Mike, of all these female superheroes.
I'm already imagining the box office charts.
You were just imagining those posters where they have their butts towards us and they're turned back looking towards the camera. That's what you're imagining.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. All right. Anyway, so Wonder Woman 2 new release date. Can't believe I forgot to put it on there, but it has been a week. That's how long this week's felt, Mike. The Gotham, the TV show, has given us our first look at Bane coming to the show, and I don't know what to think. And this is not the Bane I grew up with. I'll tell you that right now. But
the best way to describe this, I mean, obviously you could always go to our show notes on superheroslate.com, or you could possibly be watching the video version of this podcast, and you might be looking at Bane right now. But if not, the best way to describe it is if you take any normal person and drop him into a steampunk, garbage can, and just kind of close the lid and shake it up, and then you pour the person out, and you kind of got Bane. It's somebody trying to steampunkify him.
This is someone who I think it's a Sub-Zero costume from Mortal Kombat that's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, he's got the mask going on there. He's got these weird, just like pipes. He's got tons of just stuff going on his chest.
Yeah,
but
the chest is all steampunk. The mask is kind of looks like the one from Batman. Was it Batman Returns? Dark Knight Returns, or Dark Knight Rises, whatever that movie was in like 2012. And then I don't know. He just doesn't look big enough to be Bane in my book. Like he's not bulky enough, but like maybe he's a better like fighter, like tactical fighter. I don't know.
It's the last season of Gotham. They don't care what you think.
They really don't care.
They've already sold the ad spots.
And I don't care either, really, because I'm not watching this show. But like, what a weird thing to look at when you hear the word Bane.
What a weird thing to look at. That's one way to say it.
But in good news, something fun to look at, Titans. The 5th episode of Titans is coming up, and we get our first official look at Doom Patrol, not set photos here, showing Beast Boy with Robot Man, Elastigirl, and Mr. Negative here on set. I just like the way they look. Like, they look better than the Titans, I think, the Doom Patrol. I don't know why they look so good compared to the Titans, but they look really comic accurate.
I just love that. I love that robot. He just translates really well live action, which is just surprising because you think if you're got a robot man in your property, he's got to be animated with a computer, but yeah, this is working for me.
Yep, and let's not forget Brandon Fraser is the voice of Robot Man, and we'll play
bringing back the Frage.
That's right. Also in Titans, there is a Batman in the show. We've seen him do some stuff in the shadows from a distance, watching Dick Grayson's parents die, all that stuff. But apparently it is believed to be the actor Louis Tan. He was in Iron Fist, and more recently he was Deadpool 2, the guy with the katanas and the long hair. What is his name? Man, Longshot. Was it Longshot? Yeah.
Did he also... He played like the drunken master or whatever in the first season of Iron Fist, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I think Iron Fist kind of drunkenly fights him.
Yeah, so... and I remember it was Shatterstar in Deadpool 2, not Longshot. Shatterstar. He's the one who goes into the helicopter. But he's rumored to be the actor in the Batman costume. He's been seen on set. He said he was talking to DC. He's been seen carrying around Batman comic books. But he also has that fighting experience, so they don't have to like train someone to do it. So I think this is believable. Doesn't matter, no, but I don't care.
This seems like a Batman version of an adult in a Peanuts cartoon. Yeah. You're only gonna see him from the shoulders down.
A nice silhouette,
and he's just gonna be womp 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 womp.
Yep, exactly. Lastly, the Harley Quinn animated TV show. Alan Tudyk, no stranger to comic book movies and properties, especially DC, as will voice the Joker in the animated series.
All right, I like that. Alan Tudyk. He's I don't think I've ever heard him do a Joker voice, but for some reason I can really easily and safely imagine it in my head. So this is okay.
Yep. If you remember the last DC project, I believe he did. He was in Powerless, the TV show that was very, very. Very short-lived.
I was about to just very confidently say, Damage Control, that show. And I was like, wait, no, Damage Control never was a show, but it was the same show.
Yeah, it would have been very, very similar. Well, Mike, that's our news for this week. We were able to wrap it up in a nice little bow here. I'm looking forward to hopefully coming back with an Avengers 4 trailer next week, like I hope every week.
Oh, man, teasing me.
I hope every week that we get one. But we are hitting November, so, I don't know. No trailer November. That's what Marvel's going for.
Officially out of the Halloween season, and you can start putting the spooky stuff away and just cross your fingers that the gigantic media corporations really bring it home in this last quarter.
That's right. I don't think... Is there any movies this month that we're going to see? Like, I don't even think... There's nothing for us.
In November?
Yep. No, we're on a drought until December 21st, man.
Yeah, I was about to say Spider-Verse, but no, that's competing the same weekend as Aquaman, right?
Yeah, and also Deadpool 2 again. So, yes.
Wow, this is the first time in a while November's kind of been an empty field for us, like superhero-wise.
Yep, and it looks like it might be until 2020. So,
oh, man, come on. We're going to die over here.
Yep, I don't like it one bit. But anyway, Mike, people know what you're up to. Are you dressing up for Halloween? Anything like that? Maybe you'll post it somewhere.
Yeah, you can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to find out what you're up to this holiday season, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87. You can also head over to that same thing on Twitch and see me on there, as I'm going to be doing the Spider-Man from the beginning again, because that game was so awesome, Mike. I'm going to be doing it on Ultimate, so I'm going to die a lot as well.
Make sure you're spamming that circle button.
Yeah. Well, there is one of the abilities you unlock later on, Mike. It's you die in one hit, or you can kill everyone in one hit, but you also die in one hit.
Oh, crazy!
That's like a Sophie's choice of gaming.
I kind of like that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it out.
Everybody gets a golden gun.
pretty much. It's a game of tag where if you're tagged and you're done, you're out. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Anyways, on there or head over to Comic UI. Also, I think next month is Louisville SuperCon, Mike. If you are in the Midwestern area and want to go to a brand new convention full of celebrities, comic books, superheroes, and more. Don't forget Louisville SuperCon. Tickets are still on sale. Mike, if people want to know more about Superhero Slate and what we're doing, where can they find us at?
As always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host our show and to get our awesome show notes. So like I said, we talked about that official photo of the Doom Patrol. If you want to see Brendan Fraser's crazy robot face, or if you want to see the crazy, weird steampunk version of Bane, you can get that right in our show notes.
It's about the same, isn't it? About similar. No, go ahead.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and we would be happy to put this show any other place you want to listen to it. So just let us know if you're on some sort of weird podcast app we've never heard of before, but you want Superhero Slate on there. We'll find a way. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. If you're a fan of the show, we love hearing from you. Reach out via Twitter, Instagram, drop us something in the YouTube comments. We got an email contact form at the bottom of our website at superheroslate.com. You can chat with us there. Also, our social media handles we just plugged. We love hearing from you. We love liking you. We love retweeting you. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and you thought I was about to go into a weird plug for my cult, Chris, but no, I'm going to be a little bit more wholesome this week, and I'm going to say, if you really want to be a super fan of this show, go out and vote if you are in the if you are in the United States. That's all you need to do. A lot of early voting has already started. I vote by mail. I don't even have to leave my house. I have the comfort of a ballot on my kitchen table that I can just fill out and mail. I don't even have to go to a polling place. So it doesn't matter what your beliefs are in this country. You have to vote because that's how the system works. So go out there, put your vote into that ballot box, and do your due diligence. And if you don't, I'm not going to make the podcast anymore. So you have to vote, or we're going to shut this all down. We're shutting it down, Chris. I'm holding the election hostage.
You are okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if that's the case, then yes. If you I did confirm with the post office this week. If you received a prize from us from our Infinity War drawing, all our winners. If you got all your stuff, just let me know. I've heard from a couple of you. Everything went to Georgia and then it was stuck there because of a hurricane and then didn't ship back. So yeah. So everyone should have all their stuff this past week. But if you haven't, let me know and I'll take care of that. So thank you guys very much, and we'll catch you next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Call oatmeal. It's like, would you like to call oatmeal? I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Wow.